Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We are back with Coaching for Relevance. Randy Swaim joining us here, our author, our coach who is helping, bring freedom to potential. Coaching for Relevance. How you doing today, darling?
Good, my friend. It's always a pleasure to be here with you. So yeah, it's glad to be here.
Ditto. A hot Dallas day for you or what?
It's a average warm Dallas day.
All right. So what's new and exciting in your world? Fill us in. What's been happening all week? It's been a week since we spoke last.
Yeah, well, it's just been it's kind of wild because it's been a little bit of a week. There's been a couple of things with my computer, which it has not, because I called PBNN earlier, and I said just in case. But when I clicked on your link here on my computer online, it all came up perfect. So I mean, I was like, okay, cool, because I told them, I said, I think it's going to be good, and if it is, we'll be good. And and so it's just I'm just kind of working on a little bit of that, just some of those little things that sort of keep coming in. And of course, I'm still somewhat busy at the airport and and helping out over there and all that. So doing good stuff and connecting with people. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for being here. What do we have in mind for today? What leadership story area are we going to dive down into?
What I thought, and I've kind of hit on it a little bit in before, but what I thought I would sort of kind of point out to it is because there's something that leaders have to be totally aware of, and it's a misunderstood area of what a lot of people that are just kind of managers today do, and they, you just got to be aware that it's not exactly that, and it's much bigger and much more important than what just short dictatorial managers are thinking and stuff. So it's just takes it to a whole new aspect that sometimes some people, not all, but some people don't realize. But you know what? Particularly when you're talking about an organizational maneuverability concept where you're functioning your team, and let's face it, much of our aspect in our industry and our environment in today's world is organizational maneuverability aligned, because things are sort of changing. Things are not exactly what you expect. Things are just that. So you got to be sort of thinking about that. And one of the things that I'm going to I'll mention is just a little short range aspect of it that I experienced just in myself here, and I'll just kind of mention kind of how I'm kind of adjusting it and stuff, and going forward. But it's not just about going with developing in our people, leading in our people, making them sense, and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot more important than sometimes people think about.
You're breaking up a little bit. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, good. So hopefully the issue's not on my end. You were just breaking up. The last few things you said I did not hear.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear this?
Can you hear this? Yes, and I see this. Okay. I love it. Yeah.
Just for fun, I'll sit here and do this, and I'll just kind of mouth my lips together.
Gotcha. I love that. I see it for.
Gotta have some fun, right? Kind of thing.
Yes.
So, yeah. But hey, I'll just kind of share this, and it's very aligned with some things that I have brought before, over the past couple of years and stuff. But it's a key aspect that we have to be aware of in every level of leadership we're in. We have to be aware of, and we have to be aware of how we're doing it effectively or not. And it's just something to sort of think about with that. And And a lot of people in today's world, particularly when you're thinking of being managers, and I can think of a few people that I know of right now that do this in a dysfunctional way, and it's not really, it's sort of narcissistic on their aspect of it. But it, one of the things that people have and work on so much in uh, uh, teams so far a lot of times is you have a manager that sits there and he or she says, "Hey, you do this, you do that, you do this and that." And guess what? If something comes on where it doesn't, you know, work out just perfect, they tend to blame the people that they pointed fingers at. And you know what? Part of that could be that the manager didn't have insight as to some of the factors that could possibly be affected with this as they were moving forward. And so you got to realize that when you're talking about leading your teams and really developing your teams and really developing amazing success and amazing results in your teams, that's not how you work. I'm just telling you because I know this, and you bet you do this because I know this. You don't know this. Kind of thing. And if that's the way you're sort of coming across, that is a very dysfunctional aspect, and it's not true leadership. And so the bottom line is one of the things that I sort of share with people a little bit, and I'll just mention one little tiny aspect on this that on my on my computer stuff here, and guess what? It's all working right now here, for we're good, so kind of thing. But um, a lot of times when you go to shut your computer down and go to bed, sometimes it comes up over on the right side. Instead of saying just shut down, it says upload and then shut down, kind of thing. And I didn't do click that for several weeks, but what I did is I said, you know what, I'll do that. But what it did is it came up with two interesting things, and I think it's part of the mode that it put on the computer and stuff. Put a little thing, a difference in a lot of stuff, not you know not anything that's unethical or anything like that, but it's something that I'm looking at getting with somebody who is going to be a technical expert who can go in and change it and probably remove that and cancel what it's trying to do so that it's not putting out a thing. And several people that I've talked to were talking about how they were going to spend a week, assessing your computer and all this. And it's like, that's not what I'm looking at. I know what the issue is and I know what's sort of needed. And and going to it to have the conversation with technical folks that know what the issue is and know what they can do, uh, quickly and everything. And if you think about it from that perspective, when you're talking about your team and you're talking about where you're trying to go, not everything is road academic. And you know what? You got to be aware of when your members see something and experience something and are aware of something that you were not aware of. And are they going to be adjusting it right? And there's a lot of side of, well, I won't say a lot of, but there's a good group of dictatorial managers out there that have a tendency that if it doesn't work out just the way they wanted it to, they just blame their people. And you know what? If that's the case, then you are the one to blame because you did not lead them well. You didn't generate trust and and vision in them with you. You didn't really foster that trust between the two of you, and to where they want to make this right. And sometimes if they have a question, they may ask you, and it makes you go, "Oh, yeah, you know what? Good point," kind of thing, and everything. And so it's just just something to think about, because when you're talking about true leadership, it's not just about pointing fingers and dictating. And it's not just blaming people if they didn't get it done just perfectly, kind of thing. The bottom line is, a lot of times the person that's responsible is you, because you did not connect with them. You did not engender their thinking and their vision and their awareness of factors. And they they didn't have the mental processing at the time where they can have a sense of what's the most satisfactory um, aspect that we can modify just a little bit to overcome that and really reach our radical results, kind of thing. And one of the things that true leaders have to do is to have some of those kind of conversations with your team as they're going forward. And again, it not only just gets them some real situational awareness to it, but it also, if you're doing that right, it's also you building trust within you and them. It's you really building universal trust in your team synergy and your team as you're working together. And there's managers out there, and I've seen this at times just through the career and stuff. There are managers out there that just yell at people. And I don't mean yell, loud enough so that everybody in the building would hear it, but I mean so that they know what you're saying and they know why you're attacking and all of this kind of stuff. And there's a lot of people that just blame that person for why it didn't work out real well. And you know what? If you're simply being that rote level, you know, uh, manager, that's your fault in most cases, because you're not being a true leader. And in doing that, you're not truly developing the team and helping this team synergy come together in such a way where the rest of your organization looks at your team and goes, wow, look at that. Look what they did. Oh, wow. Kind of thing. And, and, and that's, just something to think about. That's a huge aspect that is different from managing and true leadership. And, true leadership is an aspect where the people really have a sense of awareness and clarity, not only of what they want to accomplish, but of the factors that could sneak on. And they have a little bit of a clarity in what they have discussed as to how they could adapt and adjust, overcome some of those factors as they're coming in. But they also, in their mind and in here, they sense a real aspect of trust and oneness with their team and with you, the leader, if you're being a true leader. And so I throw it out there as just a real kind of thing that a lot of times people don't think about. It's because here's the thing: regardless of what level your manager position is, regardless of that, you may not be aware of every factor that comes on scene. And you know what? You have to kind of help. And I'll tell you what, if you're leading and developing your team in such a way that they come up with the real radical overcoming, solution to reach radical results and make the company go, wow, thank you, wow, good, thank you, you know, even if you didn't tell them that, if you get that, then your leadership is good, because you are helping develop that within them, and you're helping their thinking, their mindset, their expense down here in terms of what they really feel about being on the team, and real sense of oneness, and a lot of trust in what the team is doing and what you are doing as the leader. And so when you think about it, you have to understand that And like, partially where this kind of came out in this thing with my computer stuff and everything, they, there are some people that just wanted to take your computer and spend about 2 weeks going through and assessing everything in it. And in my mind, I'm going, no, because this is the only thing that they need to look at, kind of thing and do. If they find something that they need to share with me, then that's okay. Uh, but it's just something to think about that when you're talking about your leadership, particularly when you're talking about organizational maneuverability aligned aspects, because not everything is rote academic in the world, and not everything happens just because you're going through what you told your people to go through. Now, if it's real simple and there's no real resistance, yeah, you can probably get there. But guess what? The next level that you want to go to may not be quite so much. And you need to kind of be thinking about how you're really going to bring your team together in a synergy, in a true uh, uh, aspect of vision and trust together with each other. And if you're talking to your team in such a way, even with just one or two people in it, if you're talking with your team in such a way that they are um, taking the trust and throwing it in the trash can, kind of thing. If that's what you're doing, that is not what you want to do. You're not preparing your team for the real success, and you're not really building it to really be a great team for your organization. And so those are just some things to think about that, like I said, when you're talking about this aspect of this, and it's very organizational maneuverability aligned, kind of thing, that, not everything fits rote academic things. And you know what? How are you really going to do it? How are you really going to lead your team and develop your team and help them truly become and achieve, even if you're sick and you're not there for 2 days, kind of thing. Um, and that's an aspect of it that a lot of people don't realize. As a manager, as a whatever, as a dictatorial manager, you don't want to be that, because it's not just about you pointing fingers and telling them what to do and telling them do this or otherwise I'm going to kind of let you get fired or whatever, kind of thing. If that's sort of how you're coming across, you're not being a true leader. But if you do it in such a way where the team truly becomes, and it's not just going with your rote academic things, but it's really being able to handle things over the next 10 years of their experience in the company, over the next 10 years. If they can handle unexpected factors that are coming on scene and really have clarity and develop the strategic vision and the strategic aspect to be able to reach radical results in overcoming it and achieving amazing things, that is leadership, when you're developing those kind of things in your team. And so it's just something to think about that, people have to do. And I know I sort of do that in a lot of ways with in the aviation world, kind of where I'm working and stuff. And a lot of people really appreciate, saying hi to me and coming up and and speaking for just a minute, kind of thing, and all this and and all that. And most of those are just colleagues and friends, kind of thing. But uh, that's an aspect that is very key when you're trying to be truly successful and when you're trying to be a true leader. And that's what a lot of people just don't have clarity on. But it's something that, when challenges are situationally challenging and everything, you got to be aware of that. And how you're doing it. Are you a leader, or are you a disconnecting and dysfunctional manager? Be a leader, because that is where true success happens. And that's what I'll just sort of leave with people.
And leading by example from you, the leader
And
himself. Uh huh.
and you know what? That's exactly leading by example, because guess what? A lot of times when you lead something a certain way, and I've done that before, you lead a certain way, and the people that work for you look at you and go, "Oh yeah, boy,
Mm-hmm.
That's what he would have told us. You know what? I see that. That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. Let's be ready to do that if we need to, kind of thing. And that is huge. Like you said, correctly so, leading by example is really key. It's not just about you dictating, but it's about you um, modeling that example that in it and everything. And so that's another key aspect of leadership. That is true. You're right. Good point that you bring up.
Yeah. Well, oh, Randy, always so much to talk about. You always have good stories, good ideas, good things that we are always here with leadership and leadership. And I love your story. Was it last week you told, or the week before, about that gentleman? You had a look in the eye and point to go back to the cockpit. But any more
Yeah,
stories like that you
yeah.
have for us?
Not this week. Nope, nope. It's hadn't been anything since then. And um, there's nothing like that so much. But you know what? Every now and then that does happen, and so you're got to do it. And I'll tell you, I go with the manager that is over our program over at the airport. I go in a lot of times in the morning, and I just kind of knock on the thing, and she turns around, and I just say, "Hey, morning," and appreciate you, and kind of leave it at that, kind of thing, and just making that kind of connection. And I was in the sim yesterday because I was giving a check ride to a client, and he passed and all that kind of stuff. But I was sitting there, and when she walked in, she was walking right by the briefing room, and she turned around and she saw me, and she waved and said, "Hey, hey," and I waved and I said, "Hey, Pam," all that kind of stuff, kind of thing. But you know what? Having that relationship where you can have that
Yeah.
oneness inside of you and that real appreciation for each other and for what you're doing in each of the members of your team, that is huge. And that is a key aspect of leadership, no two ways about it. If all you're doing is dictating, you're not leading. You're just dictatorial managing, and that's not what you want to do.
Yeah, very true, very true. We still got more time. You got 4 more minutes, so I don't want to cut you short. But you're always such an integral part of this program. I mean, you are us.
Well,
You are
what?
like
Go ahead.
no,
Yeah.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I appreciate you, and I'll tell you what I've told people that I've been on podcast Business News Network for about pretty much each week for about 2.5 years now.
Whoa, that long? Oh my gosh.
I
Yeah, I
I
guess
I
so.
think I think it's about 2.5 years. I have to go back and double check, but I think it's like around a little over 2 years, kind of thing. And but of course, during the second year, kind of there is when the or the that you know the the end of the
Oh,
first year and going into the second year is when the Hollywood movie got arranged and they came here to do it and all that kind of stuff, kind of thing. But I appreciate Ashley. I appreciate you. I
I
appreciate
love
Vivian, and
Ashley.
and I'm glad to be a part of this, and I'm glad to be just on the shows and representing them well. And I appreciate talking to them and and all that. And of course, I always mention Podcast Business News Network whenever I post the videos,
You're
kind of
so
thing that
kind.
I
You're
get
so
and
kind to
everything.
keep us in your loop. Yes, thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. So I just really appreciate it. No two ways about it. And I appreciate what you all stand for. And Jill, I appreciate you personally for how you lead this and how we interact. And I just appreciate who you are and how you do this. I'm honored and I'm appreciative of being on your shows.
Nope,
So
nope. Ditto. I am. I am. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Randy. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day. Tell us how we can contact you. Find the movie. Tell the book. Come on. Come on. Come on. You.
okay, what easy way to do it is if you go to my website of coachingforrelevance.com, okay, and on the home page there, of course, when it first comes up, you have
Okay.
sort of a cockpit picture of uh, uh, a Air Force fighter pilot kind of thing with all of his stuff there, and he's flying, kind of thing, and everything. But if you kind of scroll down just below that, you get into a big square and it talks about the Hollywood movie. And if you click on that square, the Hollywood movie, the minute and 40-second little
Yeah.
vision of it, kind of comes up. But over on the right side, it says, purchase or rent. If you rent it, it's only for a week.
Oh,
But
wow.
um, um, you can do that. But then if you scroll down the home page just a little bit further, it gets to another big square, and that's for the Hollywood movie documentary, or not Hollywood, excuse me, the autobiography
Yeah.
that's on Amazon. And if you click on it, it has just the image of it. And again, over on the right, it says purchase or rent, kind of thing. And you can click that to purchase either the autobiography or the movie. But then if you go down a little bit further, it gets down to where all my blogs are, and it has a few things in there. But then if you go all the way down to the bottom page on it, it has my cell phone on it, and it has my email address, coaching for relevance kind of thing. And so you can go down there and you can contact me. As you know, you've heard me say this before, but I don't do hard sales pitches or anything like that. But if somebody just wants to have a conversation, we can do it.
Yeah.
And but if somebody has a need and they're requesting some help, then we'll come up with something for what they need. And
All right.
and so, but that's all on the homepage. But again, the homepage is where you can get the and see the Hollywood movie thing, and you can purchase it, or my autobiography that's on Amazon, and you can purchase that. And so those two are on the front, homepage of my website.
All right. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Always a pleasure. You have a fantastic day. Looking forward to seeing you soon.
Okay, well, I tell you what, I look forward to seeing you too, my friend, and
Aw.
and I just really do, and I hope you have an awesome rest of the day, and I hope you have just an amazing, memorable rest of the week and weekend.
I will. Thank you. Same to you, sweetheart. Always a pleasure. Thank you, honey. And we'll talk next week, I'm sure.
Okay,
Uh,
well, you have a good one. Okay,
you too, hon. Bye bye.
bye
Aw.
bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.